Hello, everyone. It's the Film and Everything Podcast, the second of our back-to-back reviews. We just did the Mandalorian episode 3 discussion. Today, we are going to talk about Death Stranding, the game. Hideo Kojima, we usually do a lot of... when was the last game review we did? Red Dead? Last year? Yeah. So... we like to do big games and talk about them, especially this game that, honestly, in my opinion, it's going to show how in the future movies, cinema, and gaming is just going to merge into one. I think this game is a perfect example of that. And I say that in the best way possible. And not even just in the way of just making decisions, what is it, like Heavy Rain, or what's the other one that the one we were making fun of.
Oh, Beyond Two Souls?
No. Was it that one? No.
Oh, no,
Detroit Become Human, where it's just you have a cutscene, you hit a button. But this game, it's just a whole different way, It's like you're role-playing, but you don't realize you're role-playing. It just feels natural in the game.
It's like God of War, too.
God of War is another good example of that. God of War. We talked about this. Red Dead could have been that.
And Spider-Man, too. Like Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Last of Us.
It's merging.
Yeah.
It's getting close. This game in particular, because he's getting actual actors in his games. We got Norman Reedus, Matt Mikkelsen.
Sedux? I don't know. I can't say that.
Who's that? From Once Upon a Time?
No. She's in
what's
Inspector. She's in James Bond's Inspector one.
And
Margaret, that's from Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I don't know what's her last name. Corley?
I don't know. But we got a legit cast of actors and actresses here. Troy Baker, who's a known voice actor.
Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro's in
body,
this.
Not his voice.
Yeah, his body. They get voice actors for the actors,
And
except Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen, because that's just straight mode.
It's Mads. No, the only ones that had voice actors was
Guillermo del Toro and
Hartman.
And which
That's
is
But
Nicholas Winding Refn.
Fragile is the same actress.
Yeah.
All the other ones are all the same people.
Guillermo del Toro is in this. The director, Shape of Water, the first Hellboy, the good one, not the bad one. First two Hellboys, yeah. Nicholas Winding Refn, the director of Drive, Only God Forgives. So he's got a whole cast here, and they're really in it. These guys are in it, which is awesome. So it's the ultimate merge of movie and gaming.
And the guy who does Die Hardman.
Bring the mic a little closer.
The guy who does Die Hardman. What's his name? The Earl Jenkins.
Tommy Earl Jenkins.
Yeah,
I remember.
He did good too.
Yeah, no, this thing is honestly a movie. Now, before we get into the review, because it is something I wanted to bring up right before. This is a very split game, very divisive, and that's what I think even proves my point even more. When you watch movies, there's a lot of what's the right term, indie movies, or those artsy indie movies where it's outside of that mainstream formula, where it could be very divisive. It's either you love it or you hate it, and some people maybe don't understand it, or they don't want to understand it. And this game is very divisive, and I think, and it's like what Hideo Kojima said that you were telling me, Westerners, Americans, we're very used to we're
FPS games.
First-person action shooters, and then you got more of the European style and Japanese style, where you get something like this, where it's more cinematic, something that you got to digest a little longer, and there's a story. And so before we even played this game, we were a little worried, because that was one of our complaints with Red Dead, that it forces you to role play, but we didn't enjoy it. We felt like at one point we were scooping up horse shit, and we were filing paperwork, and we were doing the things that we didn't want to do. So it was forcing you to immerse in this world, in the world, but I don't know. It felt like it was disengaging me a little bit, and which is really weird, because this game, that's what I was worried about with this game from what I heard. And I don't know what it is, but this game, and essentially this game is about you, Sam Bridges. You are basically essentially a delivery man. You deliver cargo across the country, and you got to connect everyone again in the country, and it's broken, and this story is insane. We're not gonna get into spoilers. We won't get into spoilers yet or anything like that, but you're basically a delivery man in this game, and that to people can sound very off. Even for me, I was a little worried just because of my complaints with Red Dead. You remember how frustrated I was with Red Dead, that I was falling asleep trying to get to different places, and I don't know what it is with this game. I was so engaged with this game, and there is action in the game. It's not the primary go-to, but when there is action, it's, I think, satisfying, and it pays off within the story, because that's the thing. It's story first, considering you're a delivery man who delivers things across this country. I was engaged. I was playing 5-6 hours every night to try to get through this game. It's a long game. It's like 50 hours?
Yeah.
40, 50 hours, depending, give or take. Yeah. So it's a long game, but it's extremely satisfying. Now, yeah, there are moments that I felt some episodes dragged a little bit, but it's, I say a little bit to the point where it didn't annoy me. Like, if it had gone a little longer, I think it would have. You know what I mean? So, it knew when to stop, when to have you progress through the story, etc. There's 14 episodes in this game, so it's kind of like a little TV show. It's kind of like a little episodic show, and I think that's what he wanted to do with Phantom Pain, which he didn't get to finish. But I really, really like this game. I mean, I was worried because everybody was so divisive. Some people were saying that they didn't even finish the game because I went 5 hours in, I quit because it was so boring. If you stop at 5 hours because you were bored, then that's just your attention span, because you have to hit a certain point in the game. 5 hours is probably not even, I don't even, that's no more than episode 3. 5 hours into the game, that's prologue, episode 1, maybe episode 2, maybe up to episode 2, because episode 2 was actually pretty long. I would say, so you're telling me you reached to episode 2 and you quit? You had, the story just started, So that, I find that, I mean, if it's not for you, it's not for you, but I found that a little, ignorant, that annoyed me a little bit, because you got to give it a chance, When you're watching a show, you want to give it a couple episodes before you decide whether you love it or hate it. I don't know. I found this game oddly engaging. And I say it oddly because most of the time you are delivering packages. But you have to set up your cargo a certain way. You have to adjust your weight, You feel extremely immersed in the world when you're climbing up the mountains and you're crossing. And what I love with this game is that everyone is connected. The theme of connecting in this game is everywhere. In the story, not even just in the story, but within the game itself. I guess there's servers. And when you're traveling across the country and you're going through these maps, you can connect with other players.
Without actually seeing.
Without seeing them or anything, you can communicate and connect with these players. You can have a player who builds a ladder and leaves it over a lake, so you don't have to cross the lake. You cross over the ladder. That ladder stays there, and somebody else who's within that same server as you playing this is a story-driven game. There's no online. There's no, multiplayer PvP or anything. And that same ladder I was able to use for my story, and you can leave a like to that person. You leave a like saying, oh, hey, thanks for leaving this, because now I'm using it, and it's making my journey easier. And that continues throughout the game. You can build roads. Maybe I can't build a full road. I only have materials to build, I was able to get it halfway. Another player can come to that same spot. Mind you, it's not in my map, but it's in their own story, but it's connected, online, and they can finish that bridge with the remaining materials, and that builds that road. And I can have that road with him or anybody else within the same server, because that's what I think it is. I think it's servers, right? And it's just I don't know how he does it, but it's just somehow circulates, because I know your experience is different than mine. We're not gonna have the same, everybody. It's so many people playing it. So I love that. So then I was building roads, and at first you think, oh, it's just a walking simulator. There's not much in this, but then when you start populating the country with roads and bridges, and you don't have to do all of that yourself. Other players are doing it, and you start to see everyone working together, and you start seeing your map start to, get more filled up, and you have roads. And the thing is, at first it feels annoying and frustrating, and it feels long or something, like you have to walk all the way. But when you start building the roads and the bridges, your traveling becomes easier. You can zip line. So as you start putting all these things with other players, it starts becoming easier. You start becoming one with the map, and there's times where I saw somebody leave one part of a zip line in one section of the map, and I checked my materials. I was like, oh, I can connect this zip line with my own, so that I can connect the two zip lines, and you can zip line to a whole other point in the map. So when I did that, and then when I came across that area again, I just zip line across, and then you get likes for hold on, this camera always does this. And you get likes for, if I build something, I get likes. People, whoever comes across my building of a road or a bridge or anything, that other player online can like it. And it tells you this player has liked your bridge because they were able to use that in their story, which I thought that to me was so cool and satisfying in a way that, I don't know, I never seen that in the game before. I don't know if there was... Yeah. Well, I guess doesn't Dark Souls kind of do that?
No, yeah, but it's...
But not in that sense, but just in the sense of their path. You can see where they left off or something like that, right?
No, Dark Souls, it's purely signs. There's a guy on the right.
Exactly, because this game does do that as well.
Or you can someone to help you with this boss fight.
Which I think this game, you can leave little signs. You can warn players when they're going through a certain area. You can leave your own sign, your own footprint, saying beware of BTs, which is essentially bad guys in the game, or beware of this, or go this way. You can leave arrows, and it's all connected, but it's your own single player story, which I thought was awesome. That honestly really made it for me, and you get hooked, because when I started building roads, I wanted to keep building them and then help other people finish their roads, and you can upgrade. And so there's a lot of things you can do. You can share vehicles, in the safe house. You can go to your share locker and go online, and you can use another person's bike or truck. So that to me was amazing. I love that. The story is honestly really good. I don't even want to say it's a slow burn. I think maybe a little bit. It's a little bit of a slow burn till you get halfway. When you get halfway, that's it. You're locked in. So the story's extremely satisfying. It's really engaging. Again, it's honestly a movie. It can easily be a movie, but the fact that you can play this game, and how when you watch a cutscene it feels like a movie, but then when you're back in the game it's oh, okay, it's just a game. For some reason the cutscenes and the gameplay just merged in one, and it really makes you feel like you're in this story. You don't feel like this cut off from the game and the cinematics. It's just all in one. The game runs very well for such a big game, considering we played Gears 5. Remember we played Gears 5, and that was testing sandbox open world, which is not even considered open world, it's just sandbox, and that was glitching and lagging everywhere. So for this game not to have that issue was extremely impressive. That's all the things I loved. Now there are some things that annoyed me, which I think I love the vehicles in this game, but they're not... It's not GTA. It's not GTA where you're going to drive out everywhere really quick. There's batteries, there's all that, but it makes you want to walk. And because essentially that's what he wants you to do. You want to walk. And not that I hated walking, but sometimes you do want to get to the place a little faster. The bikes were really annoying to me. I didn't enjoy... Maybe the only times I enjoyed riding the bikes, the what are they called? Trikes or something?
Yeah, some shit.
Which they're really cool, but... when you're trying to get them on terrain and through the rocks, I did hate how the game would just kind of stop you, and you crash into a rock, and it felt very what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the right word. Just very. It's not glitchy at all. It's just very choppy or something. It's just like. At one point, I just give up and I just go. I just leave and I just start walking. Or when you get stuck in between rocks and you can't drive anymore. That's happened to me. I've sunk my bike in the river plenty of times when I'm trying to get there as fast as possible. Because there are some times you just want to continue the story because it's so intense. That's one thing I didn't like. One thing I think we talked about yesterday, the boss fights were a little easy. I did play it on normal, not hard. Because what is it? It's easy, very easy, normal, hard.
It's very easy, normal, and hard.
So I played on normal, you played on hard, but you had the same complaint too, right? That the boss fights were a little easy.
I was playing on hard, and I only died once.
Yeah, the boss fights were extremely easy. But these complaints are so minor that because it's still engaging, because it feels like this it's a really long game, but not at one point did I feel like the story wasn't flowing. Like it's so weird because it's an open world game, but the story feels just as linear and flows so good as a single player, just solid linear game, like a Metal Gear or something, which is impressive because a lot of these open world games, which is a complaint I had with Red Dead, that the story wasn't engaging. I felt like I was just doing missions and it wasn't contributing to the story. Here, you're contributing to the story. It's a 50-hour game. Open world, but I still felt like I understood the story and the story was flowing. So at no point did I feel like I was just there doing nothing, Yeah, it could drag a little bit with some cargo missions, certain episodes could drag a little bit, and I think it's just to get you familiar with the world, and you can do the standard, like, side missions, which I didn't do that many. I think I did like 5 or 6. Because after a while, yeah, it's a journey. And that's what the game wants you to feel. It is a journey. You're crossing across the country. You're getting different weather patterns and all that. I'll do it for the main missions, but for the side stuff, I was already like, no, I can't. Because it does, it's a process, But I love this game. Soundtrack is great. I love the music he puts. I love how you can't just listen to music while you're going through your journey. He has certain sections of the maps with their own songs by Low War, which is a great band, and Silent Poets, right? Mm. And I love how there's nothing as cinematic as that when you're just walking with your package. And it's not like you could just walk like in, again, Red Dead, where you just tap X. And you're either running or riding your horse. You're not thinking. But with this game, you have to adjust your weight. If you're carrying too much, you have to walk a certain way. Make sure you're doing everything right. So you are engaging, even if you're just walking. And there was something so satisfying when the music would come on and, the camera would pan out and you just see the beautiful landscape and you're just on this journey, by yourself. And with the music, it felt so cinematic. And that's not even a cutscene, it's just the game, which is really impressive to do. So I really love this game. I know you love it, but go ahead. What did you think of? Do you disagree with me What did you think of the vehicles? What did you think of this game?
Well, the vehicles were fine for me. I didn't struggle.
Not even the bike?
No. I think
I hated the bike.
I got it to my places just fine.
When you do get roads and bridges and stuff.
No.
I'm saying for me, it did make it better because then when you hit that bike and you hit on the road and you just start. So that's one other satisfying thing with the game. That's like as you build. The more you put in, the better it's going to be for you in the long run.
Yeah.
If you take your time to complete zip lines or build roads, your journey back is a lot easier. You just take a road and you just speed all the way through the map and it takes you to every point. So the vehicles did work for me then, but the bike, I don't know what it was with me and the bikes. It just did not click. And you saw me play. I was just like crashing everywhere, but go ahead.
I didn't have a problem with the bikes. I was
I don't know.
Fine.
Maybe it was just me. Yeah. I was falling off cliffs. I was dying. I didn't die too many times. One more thing before you continue. I did love how you don't really die in this game because you're like a repatriate. I love that. I love the BTs in this game, like the dead, and those scenes are so scary when you're going through that. And the soundtrack in this game is amazing.
Yeah. And
when you're trying to sneak through those BTs, and it's so scary, like it really is. It gets you anxious, and if you get caught, and like in the trailers, you got to run, and they're bringing you down from underground and dragging you down, and it's so creative and so cool. And I love that little idea of like you don't really die. You gotta like find your soul again, and then you come back, and you can cause void outs. There's a lot of different. There's a lot in this game.
Yeah.
There's a lot. So I just wanted to mention that because I did love the BTS and all that. Every aspect of this game, honestly, was just so good. It's scary. It has the action. It's cinematic. It's dramatic. It's everything. So are you on the same page? What did you think?
No, the game is amazing. I enjoyed it. I did a lot of the side stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot.
Yeah, you did. You did a lot. Yeah.
I did a lot. I finished the road. I'm almost done with all the roads. I'm almost there. I'm trying to finish all of them. The story is amazing. I love the story. The soundtrack is great. I love the private room.
Mm-hmm.
How you just have fun with the private room. People who have issues with Monster Energy, like, it's not that big a deal. Like, stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's not.
People think like, oh, why is he just trying to market? I mean, it's just for fun. I'm sure he does have a deal or something with Monster. But it's for fun. It's in a private room. I forgot to mention that. Good thing you mentioned. I love the private rooms. Yeah, that's the thing. The game it's dramatic. It's cinematic. It's scary. Yet it's also funny. It has little humorous moments. Like in the private room, you can take selfies in the sink, or you can have Norman Reedus doing like little gestures and being funny, or drinking beer or that Monster Energy drink, and you can just hang out in your private room.
Yeah.
That's like when you want to take a break from the game.
Yeah, or you put music in the private
room. The motion capture is amazing, by the way, as well.
Yeah.
Very well done. But yeah, it's a good point. The private rooms were really cool. Yeah, the Monster Energy drinks is like not a big deal.
It's like and MGS4 he has the iPod.
Yeah.
And whatever he has the iPod.
Yeah.
And MGS4, MGS3 he has like a candy bar brand.
Yeah.
It's just a thing that he does. Like people are making such a big deal out of this Monster Energy thing.
He has that. It's like a humor. He has that little humor side of him.
Yeah, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
It's just a Monster Energy drink.
If you're like a fan of Kojima, you wouldn't have a problem with it because it's just something like how his style is.
Yeah, in MGS4, I was playing the game when I beat the game like for the 10th time. I was blasting with the iPod in the game because the game has an iPod.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a product placement.
Yeah, it's just little things that he likes to do, man.
In the private room, you play your music that you unlock as you journey through like certain sections of the game.
Yeah.
Which is great. The story is amazing. The graphics are great. The motion capture is
this
really
game
good.
Does not break.
And
at
there's
all.
No bugs. That's the one thing.
There's no bugs, yeah.
That's the one thing I love about because he's been working on the game since 2015.
Yeah.
And you can tell the game has no bugs.
Nothing. I mean, this thing goes from you move like 1,000 meters or kilometers to another destination. No, there are some loading screens, but it's not like for each cutscene. You can go from a delivery right into a cutscene. The cutscene looks amazing, and you come back out that cutscene and back into the game. No bugs. The motion capture is amazing because games like, let's say, like that Horizon Zero Dawn, which is crazy, but you see like the cinematics when in the cutscenes they look broken. They're like, they get all
they got a little
weird. Yeah, like glitchy or buggy. But this is like
and the
movie.
And the cutscenes weren't stuttering because I had that issue with Gears 5.
Nothing
a
at all.
Cutscene crashed my game.
Yeah,
because
this game has there's literally no issue with this game.
Yeah.
In that sense, from a technical aspect of it, there's no bugs, no glitches, and this is, 50 hours of cutscenes, going from place to place. This is a big map.
And the world is great. Like I saw this video about the detail.
The detail's amazing, and I think you literally could you can just go to any little point in the map. It's like it's your.
I guess, yeah.
I love the different consequences you can have. Like if you can decide to kill the mules, which is like the terrorists in the game, that they're alive. They're just terrorists. It can cause a void out, and when you go back to that spot, you see like a huge crater there because you killed them.
I think it's only when Sam dies by BT, not when you kill a mule.
Oh, they just become BTs?
When you kill a mule and you leave it does a void out, but you have to load back your game because if you kill human, I guess if you kill them, it leaves a void out and you destroy a city.
Oh,
But
okay.
if Sam dies, you just come back. But
And
you
there's a
leave
big okay.
yeah.
So if you kill mules but you don't take care of the bodies,
It
you're
does a
gonna
void out, but it leads to like
the city destroying.
yeah.
So yeah, there's consequence. So if you want to kill, you have to do extra work. Then now you gotta
No,
go.
if you kill him, you have to take him to the.
You gotta burn the
You gotta
bodies.
burn the bodies.
Um, so there's just so many things. The BTS, especially those scenes, were so good.
Yeah.
Like, and then that's the thing. I'm saying
And
scenes.
the boss fights are great.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, they were easy.
They felt easy for sure.
Because I was playing, oh no, it's kind of easy. But
I feel like you wanted to
great,
just be more cinematic with it. I don't think you want it to be as challenging. I mean, there's some parts here. I mean, you're fighting giant. It's just there's some huge scale things in this game.
And the boss fights are well done. Like
they're massive.
It looks amazing.
The scale in this game, the scope is massive, and not one bug. This game could go wrong in so many ways, and it doesn't at all.
And the acting is great.
The acting is great.
And the cast too, like the supporting characters, like you actually,
Yep.
I loved every character in this game. I love Mama, Die Hardman, Hartman.
One thing, another minor. Again, these things are so minor, but it's just things that I want to be fair, and bring it up.
Cargo.
Some dialogue could be. Like there's some very minor. It's not even something that I would.
But the only one
some cheesy dialogue
I noticed that once though, in that one part.
Yeah, there's one part. There's two. There's
okay, two.
There's one scene and one piece of dialogue that's very like cheesy
cringy.
And cringy.
But
I know that's just a Japanese style, so I'm not gonna bash on it because the game. I'm not gonna say I hate the game because of that. That would be stupid. It's not no game is perfect, but it's just to be fair and I do want to talk about it. Like, yes, there are some little cheesy moments in the game. Yes, be ready to hear a lot of exposition at some points because this story is massive. This could easily be. He can take this concept and turn it into a show for years, and he's doing this in one game with 50 hours. So there is a lot in this. Like, it's a very creative story. So that's why I don't bash on it because it's so creative, it's so original, and it's so refreshing. Because we're getting a lot of the same things over and over again. So to get this was really refreshing. It's a creative story. It's a great story. So yes, there is a lot of exposition. So there are some scenes, cheesy lines or scenes. I don't have a problem with any of the cutscenes. Yes, like there are some scenes where it's just straight exposition, but it's like you have to know because you got to know what the game is, And this game is already long enough already, so it's like it's just the way it is. It's a game, and it's something. If you're a Metal Gear fan,
same thing.
You get this all the time.
Metal Gear, you're literally like, oh wait, here comes the whole backstory.
Yeah,
I don't mind.
Yeah,
it.
So it wasn't a problem, but it is something for people like you should be aware of when you go into it. But at no point, and I like to compare it to Red Dead because these are two games that want you to have that similar experience, and I was so much more engaged.
But you can't compare the cutscenes because like the Red Dead, the story was kind of like.
That's what I'm saying. That's what my comparison is because they both want you to have that realism and like role play aspect, but I feel like Red Dead was forcing me to do it in ways that was not. It was really annoying, and here it just let you do it naturally. I don't know how to explain it. It's just I'm delivering my cargo, the action. When you're coming across, I think that's what it is. Everything is immersed within the story. When I'm traveling to a certain destination, timefall happens, which is the rain that makes you age faster, makes everything age faster, and that means that's when the BTs come, like the dead essentially, And when that happens, oh great, let me be aware, let me check the weather, go around. The BTs come out, and you have to sneak through the BTs, which is very cinematic. It feels like you're watching a scene from like a scary film or something, but you're playing it. And it's part of the story. It's all connected. You understand the world. With Red Dead, you're just traveling from one place to another, tapping X. You get to a cutscene. The cutscenes are not engaging. That's one thing, except towards the end of the game. But for the rest of 30 plus hours, they're not engaging. And this game actually has maybe less action, depending on how you play, than Red Dead, and I was more immersed. I was more engaged. I played this game a lot more and a lot more frequently than I did with Red Dead. Red Dead, I felt like I had to grind it out to finish the story, which is a huge compliment with this game, you know. What else? I mean, what else are we missing? Is there anything that you didn't like besides boss fights being a little easy?
The cargo, the camera, again, the way.
Yeah, little camera points with the cargo. Yeah,
because sometimes the cargo would be too high and I couldn't see shit.
Like with some certain boss fights where if your cargo can go super high and then you want to like scan for BTs, but the cargo's blocking it, so you kind of get stuck there. Or like some boss fights where the camera's closed in, and the cargo's kind of blocking you, you know, stuff like that. Sometimes the realism, I guess, could get to you, in the sense of, but it gets to you in the moment, but then afterwards you're like, I get it, you know, when you're trying to run away and you're falling, but that's the point. You got to think of all that. Yeah. So I think that's what makes it so engaging, rather than just running and shooting. It would make it boring, you know?
Yeah, I think the camera in the boss fights. I mean, the boss fights are great.
Yeah. Like, there's some big, epic, you know, more specifically in the end of the game.
The boss fights are amazing. But for me, it was a little too easy. I was like, oh, it's a little too ezy.
Yeah, definitely. There's some like, boss fights where like you're scared at first and you realize, like, oh, this is kind of easy. Especially towards the end, the ones that you saw me do. There's some big, epic things. You have to... when you see it, you're like, I can't believe this isn't a game. And it's running this smoothly. Yeah. Because there's a lot going on. And they're easy.
The cargo will get in the way sometimes. The cargo...
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it.
Such minor stuff.
Yeah,
such minor stuff, but I love it. I love the connecting with the game with other players, and also when you're doing boss fights, you get like the little hologram of like if it's another player and he's throwing you like weapons or supplies, and he tells you good luck, and so it's like you love that connection. You know, you're connecting with other players without having to like interact with them. You're just connecting within the same. So you're all in the same boat, and I'll tell you something. The game is extremely satisfying when you're done. When you're actually done and you're finished with the story, it's extremely satisfying. And it makes you... The game is also self-aware. There's certain things that... Yeah, there's little nods telling you, hey, I know what you're going through, but here's a little reward or here's a payoff. And when you're done with the game, you do feel like you went through this huge journey as the character. And that's the point. You want to feel like that payoff. And there is a point in the game where even the character is releasing that frustration. You know what I'm talking about what you went through, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of, you know. Yeah. So I love how he's self-aware, and he knows when to stop, when to have you play, when to. So I loved it, and a lot of people who are bashing on it either haven't played it or they haven't completed it, and this is not a game for everyone, because not everyone wants to just shoot around, and when you want to watch movies, there's some people that want to watch a movie like Lighthouse. Or what's another movie that we saw? Midsummer. Some people like that. Some people just want your Marvel movie. They want action. They want a popcorn flick, which is fine because we like both. So it's just that type of thing where it's not for everyone. You know? But you also got to be fair. You can't say you played only 5 hours and give a review on it and say it sucked. Because that's not even... You didn't even make it halfway into the game.
You didn't even scratch like the surface of the game.
Because this story does pick up, and when it picks up, you don't want to stop. So
the cast is great. What's his name? Mads
Mikkelsen.
Yeah, his character.
Perfect casting. Norman Reedus was awesome.
Yeah, he matched.
I love how fun it is. You know, like the.
Yeah.
You know, like
he has fun with it. He breaks sometimes like that fourth wall.
That's awesome.
And he has fun
with the likes. I love how you get. It is rewarding when you build a road. And it tells you all the people who are giving you likes for you building it because they were able to use it. Yeah. So I don't know. It's cool. It's very rewarding with that. I love that. You know.
The cast is just great. Man,
it's acting, a movie. It's honestly a movie.
And the ending, I was like, dude.
Yeah, I was smiling towards the end because the story was good. It was good. There were some things that left me...
And some twists, too. Like, wow, like, these are good twists.
The twist definitely helped the story because there are some things in the game that I was like, wait, what? Like, why is this happening? you know, or like that doesn't really make sense. Not that it doesn't make sense,
I guess
but
another issue I have with it was there's one part in the game where it's like it gives you a option, like a choice, but it doesn't really go anywhere.
It's a test. I took it more as like a test, like to see how you are from that point in the game, like how you are, what you're gonna do. I don't think it's just to give you that element of like, oh, it's, you know.
Yeah, like a Gears 5, like out of nowhere. Okay, here's a choice out of nowhere.
I hated that.
Okay, like you just.
This was just a test to see you as a player what you do, and then it kind of throws it in your face when you complete it. Like, oh, like this is what you did, but this is kind of like what it should have been. You know, like it's more of a test, which is kind of funny. I like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Gears 5 where it's such a big deal, and no warning. It's just like do it. It's like wait, what? And that was just more of the company not trying to disappoint anyone. That's all it is.
Yeah. That's all
but yeah, I mean, we really love this game, guys. There are those little minor issues. If you're not patient or if you're not into that idea of like traveling and the role play and
or you can play a game for that long.
It is a lot of time. But when people hear role play, I feel like they take it in a bad way, but this is role play in the best way. It literally feels like you're in a movie and you're in control, and you're experiencing it with the player. You know, there's something so satisfying with just you're on that journey and you're like alone and the music.
At one point, I finished from the Lake Knot to the South Knot, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I finished the whole road, and I was just doing like side missions, and I was like in a truck with full cargo, just delivering all those, and I enjoyed every second of delivering.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's oddly engaging. Yeah. It's so weird. So. What would you give this game?
I was gonna give it a 10, but this is game of the year for me.
I think so. That's why I want to play Star Wars. Because I heard from Fernie. Fernie was saying he hasn't played Death Stranding yet, obviously, but he was saying it's like one of those top games that it could be game of the year. If it didn't, it has like little stuttering issues, but
the thing is, I think. For me, it's Death Stranding. Even though I haven't played
it's so ambitious.
It's an original story.
It's ambitious. It's huge.
And this story is like a movie.
And it's not easy to pull off with an open world game of over 50 hours of immersive gameplay.
And he created this whole world.
Yeah.
He created this whole.
It's an engaging world too. I'm at a 9.
I'm at a 9. I had the cargo issue, the boss was a little too easy. That's really it. That's really the only two things.
Yeah, like the boss level, like the boss parts.
But the boss fights are amazing to look at.
Like they're cool. They're very. That's what I think it was. I think he was more into the cinematics of it.
Like artsy. It's very cinematic.
Yeah.
It's very...
I don't think he wanted you to die that much. I think he wanted to keep it engaging and cinematic. You know how like in a Metal Gear game, the boss fight is like a pain and you're just redoing it. I think here he wanted you to just He wanted more of an experience. Like he wanted it to be this engaging story. But I do think they were very easy.
I don't know. Fuck it. I'm going to give it a 10.
You're going to give it a 10?
Because when I beat that game, there was like even one part in the game where my eyes got a little like watery. I was like, damn.
It's very cinematic.
I was like, damn. Because the music choices are amazing. I was like, and for me, I think the only game that got me that hard was like the intro of Last of Us.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm at a 9. Just because of the minor little stuff, I think it does take away one, I know. It's super minor, but...
I don't know. I enjoy... I don't know, because the issues that you had, I didn't really have.
Yeah.
Or the bike, I didn't have any issues with the bike.
It's...
I didn't...
I think, it's a brand new...
It's an original
IP.
Story.
It's an original story. It's an open world game, and what I hate about open world games is like when I know there's an open world game, I'm like, oh, that means the story's not going to be that great. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be the good cutscenes. Or that happened to me with Horizon Zero Dawn. I was like, so. But it's an open world game. The world is amazing. It's engaging. The story is great. It still feels like a linear campaign game. The world, the immersion of it, those minor little things do take one away from me. It's just so good. It is really rewarding. So I'm like at a good 9, not even like a low 9. It's like right there, I'm at a 9 out of 10.
And I love the
it's so fresh.
The BB.
The BB.
Because I was looking at the
you
the
do
detail,
build a bond with the BB.
I was looking at the details and I missed it. And it made me love the game even more because when you take a bath in that hot spring, whatever, if you zoom in on the BB, he starts swimming in the pod.
Yeah.
He starts swimming, or he has like these little things in the private room where it looks at you, it gives a little thumbs up, or does like a little like.
Yeah, a lot of little
gesture.
details. A lot of little
It's
details.
a lot of detail. That's why I'm giving it a 10. And
Yeah.
and those little issues, because I'm not those people that take a point because of the monster energy.
No, I like
don't
the
care.
little nods of humor.
Yeah, like because that's what he does. Like it's just monster energy. It's
And it's not too much humor. It's just little nods for the player. It's just
the part if you drink beer, your guy gets drunk, he knocks over the thing. And there's some things that I haven't done yet. There's some like Easter eggs. There's like a secret private room.
yeah.
Oh,
Conan
and
O'Brien is in this game, which was hilarious.
His little part is great. That what's that guy? The host of the Game Awards.
Jeff Knightley.
Yeah, he's in it. He has a lot of cameos.
He has some directors, like director of Kong Skull
Yeah,
Island.
he's doing Metal Gear. Makes
Edgar
sense.
Wright, awesome stuff. So you get a little bit of everything in this
Yeah.
game, you know. So I'm at a 9. I'm like at a good 9, like not like a low 9. It's nowhere. It's not even an 8 for me. It's like a 9. It's a good 9.
For me, I'll give it a 10 because I
know some people gave it like a 7. I think Angry Joe gave it a 7, and he said the combat was a 4 for him. I'm not sure why. I'm curious why he gave the combat a 4. I understand the boss fights are easy, but the combat is.
Well, I don't know what difficulty you played it on.
But even for you were saying on hard, but the way he was playing the game was very like he was trying to play like a Red Dead or GTA.
I was watching the difference between normal and hard. The difference is that the boss fights took me longer. There was one point where I was on a boss fight like for a good like 15 minutes, but I was intense. I was in it. I was like,
yeah.
And I died once by a boss fight is because if you get shot twice, you die on hard.
Okay.
You get shot twice.
Yeah, no, not for me. I was,
Yeah, no, you're in.
I love the World War scenes and.
Oh, wait, we're in spoilers, or I wasn't sure.
No, the one in the trailer, that was amazing.
I've never seen it before in the game.
Yeah.
That
made me want to see like a World War II game, but like a third-person game like that.
Yeah, and it's just the world, how he like with the BTs and Death Stranding, and just the way it all connects in the end.
Yeah,
is great, and the twists in that game were amazing.
Yeah,
the twist in the game.
Yeah. So I'm at a 9. You're at a 10. If you guys haven't played the game, definitely check. It's so new and so refreshing.
I don't know. It's hard. I can't recommend it because
I'd recommend it. Give it a shot.
Because everyone, someone's paid $60 and don't like the game.
That's the thing. From what we've told you, if that's something that interests you, if you like cinematic stuff.
The thing is, the only people who give it the game low rating is the people here. Like in Japan, it's like high rating, and Europe, it's like high rating.
Yeah.
I know there was a guy like some I forgot who it was, and he was like in Europe, he gave it like best game of the year, like generation.
Yeah, so that's kind of like what we're dealing with here. So
yeah.
If this kind of stuff,
if you
what
like
we're
that
saying
artsy
interests you,
and different,
very cinematic.
But
it's not even in a bad way. It's not like in a boring way, like these decision games that it's like, oh yeah, it's an interactive experience. Like this is nice. So
yeah, if you like only like Call of Duty type games, you're not gonna like it.
Yeah, no.
Or like Fortnite, if you play a lot of Fortnite, you're not gonna like it.
Yeah, there's no way. So
it's a story-driven game.
So yeah, guys, that's our review on Death Stranding. I mean, is there anything else that we didn't cover about this game?
I thought we were going to spoilers. I wasn't sure.
Should we? Should we go into spoilers?
It's up to you.
I
feel like the story is just hard to explain.
That's the thing. I want to do like a bonus one. I think what we'll do is we'll do a separate episode just for spoilers. Because I just beat it yesterday. Was it yesterday? I beat it yesterday. You beat it a little bit before me, a couple days before.
Yeah, I beat it 2-3 days ago, and that story still stays with me.
It's still with me.
I still think about it, like, man, like that story was so.
It's still with me. I want to go back and I want to watch some videos. I want to like go into it more and then come back fully like ready because I'm still like taking it in, you know. So we'll definitely do like a bonus episode for like story spoilers, because There's a lot. We can easily go another hour because we're hitting an hour right now. We can easily go another hour in spoilers. So we'll do it this week, actually. Let's do it this week. We'll do a bonus episode for spoilers because it is a lot. Like I wouldn't even know where to. But for right now, I wanted to give like our review on it so that people who haven't played it or who did play it, but we are gonna do a spoilers this week. We'll do it before we go out of town for Thanksgiving, and we'll go from there. So anything else before we close it off?
No.
So 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
I love this game. I voted for it.
You even have the hat on. He has the hat. Show him the hat.
The bridges.
That's
No,
cool
you know
hat.
I should put the hoodie on.
Oh yeah.
I have a shit ton.
Now I wanna support it more. I'm kind of debating whether either to get a hat. I wanted to get the little spaceman. Yeah. It was like what, $15?
Yeah, no, me. I have a shirt. I got a hoodie. I got the hat. I had the baby.
Yeah, we actually got the baby.
I have the baby.
pod.
And I have the little figure.
That's right.
I had the figure.
That's the Kojima Productions, right?
Yeah, I had the figure. It was just sold out. I'm like, I think I got it.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether to get the Bridges hat because it's cool. You get to wear. That's another thing in the game. You get to wear the hat, and you can wear the glasses.
Yeah, and another thing too is his studio, like the little figure that he has. Like, I love his
style,
like his mascot kind of for the.
It's like his little mascot or like his logo. It's not his logo, but it's his mascot.
Yeah, like that cool. I don't know what that is.
It's awesome.
Because like when you start up the game, it shows like the guy like with the
that's his that's his opening like logo or something.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool, and I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, yeah, guys, that's our review, our discussion on Death Stranding. I hope you enjoyed it. Man, it's up to you if you guys want to check this game out or not. Based off of what we told you, I think we really covered everything about the game. So, if it's something that interests you, definitely check it out. I mean, we loved it. It's a 9s and 10s for us.
And it has the ad of a show, The Ride with Norman Reedus.
Yeah, it has a lot of little Easter eggs, which a lot of people have problems with. I thought it was. It's all in the private room.
Yeah, because the thing is, like when you take a shit, what is it gonna show?
Yeah.
If it's a little ride with Norman Reedus.
Yeah. And it's all in the private room because the private room is meant for you to like disconnect from the game, you rest,
and you have fun.
You have little fun stuff. Because in the world itself, there's not. Yeah, you have like Conan O'Brien in the game, but it's within the game,
Yeah.
So, which is cool.
And all the Metal Gear callbacks.
A lot, yeah.
Like,
how can you not,
Yeah,
How can you not?
When you see the game over, and it shows the Metal Gear in the background of the logo.
Oh, there's a lot of sound effects from Metal Gear in this game.
Yeah. Hello, the bots look like the geckos.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of Metal Gear references.
It's great. It's honestly, it's oddly great.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
Because I'm sure he's bothered by the fact that he couldn't continue his Metal Gear.
Oh my God, yeah. If this was how Phantom Pain was supposed to be, in the sense of like episodic and long.
Because if you think about it, look at the base. You had the base.
It's very similar.
Very
similar to Phantom Pain.
Very similar.
So I think Phantom Pain could have been, and Phantom Pain was actually, it was good. The story was not complete, but the gameplay and what he was trying to do with the world building, if it was anything like this, but in the Metal Gear world, oh my God, what he would have done.
Just the story
It wasn't complete. He had to reserve to tapes.
And those tapes are 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's cutscenes.
That's cutscenes, yeah. So, that's our review, guys. One more thing, actually, because you were saying there's like rumors going around that his next game might be like a horror. He's trying to get into a horror genre.
Yeah.
It maybe to make up for the Silent Hills game that never happened, PT. Which, my God, that would have that demo.
That demo people called the greatest horror game of all time, just from that demo.
And that was another Norman Reedus
and
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, because he was working with.
And that's why they ended up doing this. But man, I would love, because there's horror elements in this game with the BTs, which are amazing.
And it kind of works out because you got
this, and now he's gonna do something else. I would love to see.
I'm curious though if he's gonna get like Mads Mikkelsen again, Norman Reedus.
He's definitely gonna get actors again. I feel it. He loves.
And Keanu Reeves visited his studio. And he does want to work with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I would love to see.
Because it's supposed to be Keanu Reeves as Mads' character.
No, I see Mads killed it.
Because he's going back and forth to get Keanu Reeves or Mads.
I definitely can see him doing a horror game. That's going to be good. So if that's his next project, I'm all in.
And Norman Reedus, he matches for the games. Like he has like the way
he has the look and he has that character.
I know, but I feel like he matches with that Japanese style.
Yeah. The hair, with the hat and the sunglasses. He has the humor. It's awesome.
Yeah, and
so,
he matches.
If Kojima's doing horror next,
yeah,
I'm ready for it. That's gonna be some scary stuff. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, if you liked our review, if you're watching, just leave a like or subscribe. It really helps us a lot. We really appreciate it to support the channel. If you're listening, give us a rate or review, and it doesn't hurt. It's 10 seconds? It helps us out a lot. So we would really appreciate it if you guys are enjoying the show. Thank you guys for always tuning in, and we're gonna try to keep doing more and more. We're gonna do a bonus episode for I think Death Stranding. If you guys want that, we'll do it. Just talking about the story and go really into spoilers because that's gonna be a big one. There's a lot to unpack from this game. So thank you guys so much for watching, for listening, and goodbye.